Hello everyone, my name is Akai Fox and this is a digital art video. I hope as we start the video you recognize that image with the dogs and playing cards. And so when I got this request, they wanted that specific image with these creatures that you can see me start to draw here called Choya, C-H-O-Y-A. They are from Guild Wars 2, and they are so ugly. I really struggled with this one because I'm used to drawing cute and pretty and ugly, and not designed to be aesthetically pleasing is really very challenging for me. So here we are. You can see the images that I'm trying to reference and trying to redraw for this person. This was well outside of my comfort zone, and something that took me quite a while to start to feel that I got the hang of it. My first session that I sat down to do this, I only completed the first two on that left-hand side. And I went to bed that night thinking, I did such a terrible job. I hate the way that it turned out. And I actually did not work on it on the following week. I was frustrated that I didn't finish it all in one go, which part of me kind of knew, but I was hopeful that I would have made a lot more progress. And I mean, overall, this whole process took me probably about 12 hours, which I was not prepared for. And they're just so difficult to draw, to capture. And as time went along, I started to feel a lot better about how they were turning out. Specifically the one I had just finished right before this. I felt like making the chalk something that I could color in as highlights and lowlights, and then be able to blend and blur those together. After I started to realize that, I went back and I was starting to feel a little better. But this piece, this request, it wasn't something I made any money from. In my channels, you can save up enough points, which, let's be real, time is also money and it helps to support my channel. So I do it as a way that if you've saved up enough, then you can earn one of these. And they also very specifically wanted this guy. His name is, I believe it was Gordon, and he's a special skin in the game that wears a polka dotted bikini top as his, underpants, shorts, something. And once I got to this actually was stupidly fun. I kind of enjoyed making whatever he is. Again, these are Choya, but the teeth bothered me, everything bothered me. But I got through it, and I'm really glad that I challenged myself and pushed myself to get through all of this. I had managed to at least complete all 7 of these Choya through live streams, but the background and everything, and the final touches and the table, I ended up doing off of stream, because as you're making content for these videos, you want to stay ahead if you can. And considering I struggle to set aside any extra time to complete these different art pieces, I really try to make sure that I can get things done on the first go. And unfortunately with this, it's kind of put me behind, and then I had some health things, and so I wanted to get this uploaded and put together as soon as possible. Like, again, this was a total of 12 and a half hours of trying to get these ugly creatures, and I have permission from the requester to call them ugly, because they are not even remotely something that I thought I could draw before all of this. And I kept thinking about something that my grandmother said to me once, is that she was referencing one of those, you guys remember Thai Beanie Babies, yeah? But she was referencing a bulldog that she had bought me, and I said, Grandma, that's so ugly. And she said, yeah, but it's so ugly, it's cute. And for some reason, that interaction, well, I mean, maybe not for some reason, but that is what kept coming to my mind as I was drawing these, was that interaction with my grandmother going, oh, but it's so ugly, it's cute. And by the end of it, I felt a little better. Again, I felt that my technique and my art style improved with each one of these that I drew. So those last two, I'm fairly pleased with, and even the third one there that you get the dead on shot from, I was very pleased about how those ones specifically turned out. Go figure, it's the ones that are turned from the side or the 3/4 angle that I mostly struggled with, and the ones that were a little more dead on. But again, this is not something I'm ever used to putting together and for anybody else. So at this point, with all of the people, creatures, Choya, players, whatever we want to call it here, now that they were all done, it was time to do this now all off of stream, and so it gave me a lot more time to focus, because when I'm streaming I tend to get distracted, and there were a lot of times where I was talking through what these were, what the request was about, so this allowed me to just really focus and knock out so many of these tiny details with the poker chips and the alcohol, and there were a few things that I feel if I had not run out of patience by this point, I probably would have gone back and I probably would have redrawn a few of their pipes, added some smoke. But even just getting to this point, I was like, I want to move on. There are so many details, and, you know, clean up to make sure all of these chips stood out and they had the little rings and the details, so many details in this piece. And I realized somewhere around here that I was really frustrated with all the straight lines in these chairs. And at some point in here, I realized I could start making straight line tools, brushes, something. And oh, I think it's actually when I get to the lantern here, but you'll see a little bit later on I clean up a lot of those. And can I talk about wrong layers for a minute here? If any of you use any sort of digital art, I can't tell you the number of times that I will start something on the wrong layer, and then I go to switch layers and it's on the other layer. So that's what a lot of this sketch work actually ended up being, and part of it's just, I feel like, being a messy artist, and part of it's just switching back and forth and not checking what layer you're actually on. Because the number of times that I'd have my community while I was drawing this go, layer? Oh, yeah. So shout out to my community for helping me with that, but as I got towards the end and I'm fixing and I'm making sure that things are on top of each other the way they're supposed to and combining things, the number of wrong layers. But yeah, you can see my lines suddenly turned much more straight and crisp, and that's because I realized, oh, there is a whole tool where I can just drag and it will make straight lines. So I ended up going back and cleaning up a bunch of this, which, oh, it looks so much better now that I discovered that. Again, I've not ever gone through any formal education for my art, and especially digital art can intimidate me with that, because oftentimes there is a tool or an effect or something that I can add in and it makes the job so much easier. So I'll continue to learn as we go, and I'm grateful for the practice that this very challenging request made me learn and discover, and so I was just, again, at this point, very ready to be done with this request. I did still want to make sure that I did the best job I could, and so still continuing on with more and more and more details. You know, I was going back and forth on whether to add any sort of color to these chair seats or not, and I said, you know, they're just going to be wooden chairs at this point. I considered playing with some of the ambiance and lighting effects, and again, if this was something that I wasn't already over by this point, I probably would have tried to play a little bit more, but ultimately I wanted to make sure that I could get this done and move on with other requests, because to me, I don't feel like this was something that needed to be. So with these paintings, I was pretty happy that as I looked at the art that I was referencing this from, they had some paintings in the background, and I said, oh, what a great opportunity to use some of my paintings. And so I do have videos for both of those on this channel as well, if you want to go back and watch them. So I was really, really happy to be able to pull those into the full final result. So yeah, here's me just cleaning up the rest of the clock as we moved into polishing and finishing up this request. I'm really glad that I took on the challenge for this, and again, it taught me a lot, but I would not recommend. Anyway, I hope the person enjoys this, and I hope you've enjoyed watching this. If you'd like to see more art videos, you can check this channel out for more. Click like if you enjoyed this video, and always thank you so much for watching. You all have a great day.